start. Just before Nirmala Sitharaman presented her seventh consecutive budget as Union Finance Minister of a coalition led by the Bharatiya Janata Party, which managed to gain power for the third time on an underwhelming mandate. Signals from the government seem to suggest what its thrust may be. The Economic Survey 23-24 made clear that while India's industrialists and business elite were swimming in excess profits, the priority of the government was not to tax away that excess for developmental purposes, but to ease the burden of regulation on business and goad the private sector into generating productive jobs out of enlightened self-interest. Business must lead the march to Vikshit Bharat 2047, and the job of the government is to persuade the private sector not to shy away from leadership. Outside government, speculation was rife on two matters. The first concerned the possible response of the National Democratic Alliance to the signal from the parliamentary elections that the strategy of sidestepping core economic problems varying from rural distress and widespread unemployment to inflation, especially food price inflation, could prove costly. The second related to the scale and the structure of the payoff to allies. The Telugu Desam Party and the Janata Dal United, or the from Andhra Pradesh and Bihar respectively, who are crucial to keep the post-election coalition government led by the minority NDA in power. The speech did not disappoint by sidestepping these issues, though the beneficiaries of the schemes meant to address them are likely to be disappointed by their scale and efficacy, embarrassed perhaps by the hordes applying for the few half-decent jobs available. Part A of the budget speech spent much time on the means to increase employment, especially for the educated unemployed. Multiple initiatives were announced which broadly fell in two buckets. One contained schemes that amounted to providing employment subsidies either directly or indirectly to employers. The scheme to provide rupees 15,000 in three installments to all new employees with salary up to rupees 1 lakh a month appears to be directed to those employed in the formal sector. But it is more than likely that the availability of this benefit would influence the compensation package offered by companies attempting to internalize that subsidy. Another set of subsidies, such as the 3,000 a month contribution for 2 years, to be made by the government against Provident Fund subscriptions accrues directly to employers. A second bucket consists of schemes varying from subsidized internships and interest subvention for educational loans, which attempts to upskill workers largely at a state expense in ways that are expected to make them more employable. The assumption is that it is not inadequate and inappropriate growth, but a skill set mismatch between what job aspirants have to offer and industry needs that is responsible for unemployment. Combine this with direct tax concessions for foreign firms and indirect tax adjustments to favor domestic manufacturing, and the picture that emerges is that the unemployment problem is sought to be tackled the persuading private capital with transfers to hire the unemployed in productive jobs. The underlying perception which misses why high growth does not deliver more jobs is that business wants to hire but finds the available labor force too expensive or unsuited skill wise. This mismatch between the problem at hand and what the budget offers is even more stark when it comes to agriculture, while peasants unable to make both ends meet because crop production is economically unavailable have been demanding procurement at a legally guaranteed minimum support price. The budget promises to implement a long-term program to raise productivity and production. Farmers who have been on the streets for years now are unlikely to be impressed. Stop.